So, what is cannabis harm reduction and why is it worth knowing about it? Well, first of all, cannabis harm reduction nowadays equates to cannabis education. The reason is simple. There's just an array of misinformation that we've been fed throughout the years, my generation and older especially, when we didn't have access to outside information sources like the internet. We had to rely on whatever information was provided to us by the government, and unfortunately there are many misconceptions floating around about what it does. And sadly, the biggest one has to do with its health benefits. And it's not just all good. There is some harm that can come from using the plant incorrectly, and specifically production methods and chemicals used, etc. So working with current fact-based scientific information becomes crucial. The other side around harm reduction has to do with the cultural black hole that we operate in. We received an education from our parents on how to deal with alcohol, or how to deal with tobacco perhaps, or other mood-altering substances, and we can do that with relatively little harm to ourselves. Yes, alcohol is bad for you, but used responsibly, it can be good. Now, science is showing that the harms caused by cannabis are significantly less than those caused by alcohol, and if you can successfully regulate and work with alcohol in our daily lives, then potentially, most definitely, we can do that with cannabis. The biggest harm that comes from using cannabis, however, today has to do with the criminalization around the possession or the use of it. Being arrested, being processed through the criminal justice system, and ending up with a criminal record is by far the biggest harm that can come from using cannabis, and there's also an education component to that. So I do a talk that covered three broad areas in terms of the risks that are faced by cannabis, or cannabis users face, specifically medicinal cannabis users. Not that there is a thing such as a medicinal cannabis, it really is just what is the intention with what to use it for. And many people prefer not to use it for recreational purposes, or the feeling of getting high and just having a good time. They desperately need it to support their health. And in that sense, it becomes crucial that you source quality product, that they know what the effects are of that product, and that there are no contaminants or pesticides or heavy metals in their specimens. And then lastly, also addressing what the cultural ignorance around the topic, the stigmatization, the workplace, and testing at schools, and how that can bring harm, and what would be saner policies to put in place. The health debate aside, even if we disagree with anyone on the health benefits of the plant, the question then is, if it really is bad for a user, are the current remedies that are in place, being arrested or sent to rehab, are those really helpful, or might it make sense to change policies to be more sane and more in line with international models that we have the benefit of referencing, notably the US, where it's legal. Medicinal marijuana, as they call it, is available in more than half of the states, and quite a number of states have legalized it completely for recreational use, so people can light up in the street, and we can look at those societies and see what harms have come from it being available, and then we can bring that back to South Africa and hopefully positively influence legislation that we hope and anticipate should be on the cards in the next 2 or 3 years. New legislation, much more sane approach. So if this topic interests you and you feel that other people can benefit from hearing that information, please get in contact with me. The contact details will be somewhere on the page, and let's talk and see if I can do a talk for your social club perhaps, or a school or a youth organization, groups that you feel need to get accurate information. Thank you.